Hey guys, welcome to the brand new first edition premiere issue number 1. Put it in plastic and keep it in mint condition forever, which is easy to do because it's digital, so it won't get bad. You know, you could record it on a cassette tape and listen in your car. Episode of Julee's Art Farts. Nobody? There we go. I'm not the only one here. Okay, so if this is the first time you're listening, this is the first time we're doing it, so that's such a good coincidence. I'm Tony, and I'm joined here by my podcasting partner, Jenna.
Jenna.
What's up, Jenna?
Nothing.
So we always get together and talk like once a week, usually on Thursday, doing our internet stuff, right?
Yes.
We're always teaching people about the internet, and they're getting so much smarter thanks to us.
Yeah.
But now we're going to do something different.
What are we going to do, Tony?
You don't know? I thought I told you beforehand. We have to get our notes together. What we're doing now, we are going to be the students.
Yes.
We're going to learn about the world of art. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do you know like a whole bunch about art, Jenna?
No.
What do you know? What do you know about art?
I learned shading the other day.
What did you shade?
I don't know anything about cones and circles.
I've seen that before, right? You make a flat circle look not flat.
Yeah.
Were you pretty good at it?
No.
Really?
No.
I thought you liked to draw.
I can't draw.
But you like to, right?
I mean, I guess so. When it's good, yeah.
So that's weird because I can draw, but I don't like to.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't feel like I'm creative artistically, like visually.
I'm not creative at all.
Yeah, you are. I mean, you know, like we also create like an amazing podcast. So we wanted to create more and we want to learn more about art. So we called in an expert.
Yes.
Presenting for the first time on the show. That's the first episode. So everything's the first time. One of our other sisters, we'll leave it open how many sisters we could have. Julee. Woo, Julee.
Hello.
Julee.
Julie's in the house. So, hey, Julee, how you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
We're good. Didn't you hear?
Yep.
So Julee is our in-between sister. Younger than me, older than you, but she knows a whole bunch about art.
Yes.
Julee, how'd you get to know so much about art?
I went to school for a while.
I've been to school for a while too. Jenna, you're still in school?
Yeah.
Well, I took a lot of art classes.
Like in what grades?
From, I would say seriously, a lot of art classes starting in high school till college, which I just finished. Yay.
Yeah. What is
graduation?
What is your credentials? What makes you official? What's your college credential in art?
I have a bachelor's? Bachelor? Is it singular? Or
How many do you have?
2, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know. A bachelor's. Just say it really fast. A bachelor's of arts.
A bachelor's of arts.
In studio art and art history.
That's cool.
That's cool.
So as long as I've known you, which is pretty much your whole life.
Yeah.
So like Julie's always liked to draw. And many years ago, it was always like doodling and cartooning. And it was always like, oh, that's really cool. That's really cute. Oh, what's a nice drawing? Oh, say nice things to Julee so she doesn't get upset. And then she started getting a little more serious in high school. Like, oh, I want to do a little more. And you had an art show in high school, I remember. I went to.
Oh, yeah, it was a school art show.
Yeah, then we went and Julee had her art. Shout out to, what's that school?
Glenbard West.
We'll go Mo Hills.
Hilltoppers.
Hilltoppers. So then Julie's like, oh, everybody's like, Julie's got a little bit of something for art. But then, you know, college comes and it's time to get serious, decide on your career. How did you decide, Julee, that you want to do art?
I've always wanted to do art. I never had another plan or option. It's always been art. Not art history, though, which is kind of interesting because we're doing this podcast on art history.
So you're not qualified to do this podcast.
Neither am I. Neither am I.
Stop. And this is our last episode of Julee's Art Farts.
First and last.
Yeah, so you always loved art, and then you go to college, and then what did you study exactly? Like, what was your focus?
I've always wanted to do illustration, but the college I went to at Northeastern didn't have that.
We'll go Eagles.
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 The bird's nest.
Yes, that's right.
Eagles. Okay.
I went into printmaking, which I really enjoyed, and then I slowly, by accident, kind of just took more art history classes and got that second.
You just showed up by accident? You were in a different class?
No, by taking so many. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to take a few art history classes as an art student.
Yeah.
But I loved it so much, and I continued going. And it's like, oh, hey, if I do this, I could also get a major in art history.
Jenna, do you know what printmaking is?
No, but you use that all the time. I feel like, okay, so you draw something and then you print it. I don't know.
No. Not at all.
Wrong, Jenna, wrong.
Printmaking is a really broad term for a lot of different printing techniques. Are we going to go into this?
I mean, we'll touch on it, and
Okay.
it'll come later.
Yeah.
But, like, if Jenna goes, I don't know what printmaking is. What's it about?
So there's a lot of different kind of print making techniques, like screen printing, which you're probably most familiar with. It looks like your shirt is probably screen printed, the one you're wearing right now.
All our listeners, if you please look down at your shirt, and hopefully your shirt is screen printed. Hopefully you're wearing a shirt. Please listen to shirts while listening to our show.
Please wear shirts.
Wear shirts.
I was like, wait, what?
Screen
I'll
printing
edit
is
that.
probably the most popular, and then
And that involves, like, creating an illustration either by hand or digital, a process of transferring that illustration to another material like a silk, and, like, putting it on top of something and pulling the paint across and transferring. Like, it's a way to, like, make lots of copies without using a copy machine. Kind of.
and it's nicer. You know, if you go, why not just print this on a computer 50 times?
Right.
There's something about doing it handmade, and you could see the quality, you could feel the quality.
And it's kind of connected to, like, stamps, kind of stamping.
Yeah, like
and-
stamps.
Yeah, I
is
was
a
thinking of,
easy
like,
way,
stamps.
yeah. Or there's like carving. If you're looking at a rubber stamp, it looks kind of carved, a negative space, and that's a lot of printmaking techniques.
Oh, that's going to be a term. Negative space.
Yes.
Negative space. Do you know? Have you learned that one, Jenna?
Never heard of it.
How many times do you have art class a week?
I had it every day for about like 6 weeks of my school year.
Oh, that's good. Negative space is like if you have objects, it's the space around the objects, like the air area, like the opposite, right?
Yeah. So, like, if you want to look back at your shirt, Jenna, all the blue is negative space. The person
Okay.
who designed that shirt, they use the white as the positive space. So
Everybody look at Jenna's
the
shirt.
figure, the figure is in the negative space. The white is kind of popping out, if you could see.
Yeah.
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 So it's like, the background or the around space. And we'll learn more about all
Yeah.
these terms as the show goes on. I have a little bit of art knowledge. I took a bunch of classes, but
Wait, so I don't know if this will make sense, but I'm bringing technology into this. So
Okay.
the background of your phone and then all your apps are the positive space? Wait, what?
maybe the background is the negative, or
I think that's.
the space around the apps.
How about we look at a specific app, like Instagram?
Okay, let's look at
Okay.
the Instagram icon. Oh gosh, I hope it's a good.
I don't know.
I love the
I
Instagram. It
I
looks so
tapped
cool.
my icon. Don't do that. Just look at your icon. Okay, we're looking at it.
So the negative space is all that color.
Yes.
Like they're using that artistically. Or you know what? Because this is 2D, it's kind of hard. Is it?
Wait, let's look at your Facebook app icon.
I don't have a Facebook.
Look
app.
at
I
mine.
don't have a Facebook.
What? Twitter? Do you have a Twitter app?
Yes, I have a Twitter.
Okay,
Okay.
that one, right? The white.
This one's weird though because it's
It could be either way.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
I'm really confused
Oh
right
yeah, because like, did they paint? If you look at the Twitter icon, it's a blue square with a white bird, shadow of a bird. Did they paint the bird or did they paint the blue?
Yeah.
Mystery.
We're gonna have to tweet this at them.
Yeah.
Did you guys paint the blue or did you paint the white? Okay, so
I think
Or did
it
you
will,
stamp-
this will be explained a
did you
lot
stamp
better
the
in
white?
other.
yeah, when we see it,
Yeah.
we'll think of that word. We're gonna write it down. We're gonna come back to it. Negative
Okay.
space,
Yeah.
but I think we got a little bit of an idea. So we were talking about Julie's doing the printmaking, and she fell in love with printmaking. She's studying that in college, and then she starts taking all these other classes because like you haven't started having an interest in like the history of art, right?
Yeah, I've always had an interest, and also my professor was really good at his job, I guess, and engaging the students. And I ended up taking a tour at the school, going to Italy with that professor, and it was a school tour.
And with
I
other
remember
students.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like suddenly your world like explodes with this whole other thing of not only do you like drawing and making art, but now I want to see where art comes from and the original geniuses and how did they make that thing and why did they make that thing? And you gained all that knowledge, and that's what brings us here today, where we're going to look at, this is what the show is. We're going to look at famous works of art that you see all the time on like tote bags and magnets and posters, and like, what makes that art so good? Like, what's so special? What's the big deal? You're a good drawer. I'm a good drawer. Why can't we have our stuff in the museum? And hopefully you can like enlighten us a little.
Yeah.
And all of the audience in the world. and so yeah, you're totally credible with your double major bachelor's.
I mean, yeah, I'm not so credible because it's only a bachelor's.
But you know what, Julie? You're incredible.
Oh, that's good. That's good enough.
So yeah, I think, Jenna, do you have any other questions about Julie's like art resume?
So that's why you went to Italy? I thought you just went to Italy because you wanted to go to Italy.
I mean, yeah, I would want to, but it was a tour that my teacher had set up for the students.
Okay, I was just wondering, like you brought me back a souvenir.
And that's what art's about.
No,
souvenirs.
yeah, it was almost 2 weeks, I think, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
the teacher set it up to go to all the great museums and churches, because the great thing about Italy is that all the art is in Italy. Unlike, like if you go to our museum here in Chicago, you can see that all those artworks are mostly from different countries. Like we're talking about old artworks, but Italy they have this thing where they don't remove the art from their original places, which mostly were like churches. So like France, that's completely been butchered. Everything is everywhere.
Okay, so like centers of art in the history of the world are places like Italy, France,
etc.
Rome is in Italy.
Rome is in Italy. I mean, New York, Greece. No, not Greece.
India has.
India. What are we talking about? Okay, well, basically,
So like,
no,
yeah,
We're just naming places off.
okay, those two. I should have stopped. So what happens though in the history of the world and through wars and through politics?
Yeah,
people break off the stuff and move them around, take them home with them, and then. So in France, what you're saying is all the art is like all over the place now.
Yeah. Everything's in a museum. If it was meant for a church, it's been taken out. It's in a museum.
Oh, but in Italy, they said, no, don't touch. Hey, you, what are you doing? Don't touch the art. That's totally not bad for me to do voices of other people here. So it's like you get to see all the stuff in the original place.
Yeah, which is an important thing for context. Like why did this painter paint this?
Yeah.
You know, I mean that's a big thing. I don't think we'll really get into that in this.
I'm gonna
podcast?
especially ask about that.
But And those are things that you will never see because they're never going to be ripped out of out of the walls. So if you want to see this specific painting, you have to go to Italy. It won't be on an exhibition. So if you're really interested in art, Italy is a place to go because it's only there, those works.
It's the place to go to see it. So is the piece we're talking about today, does that come from Italy?
It is, but it's in France.
You just said, you just got finished saying that the stuff stays there, especially not in France. It's the opposite.
This painting wasn't meant for a church, so.
Well, okay, Jenna, we're going to let her finish this episode, and then we're going to rethink about this whole thing, because she's shooting herself in the foot. Okay, let's come to today's episode. And today's piece, which I'm gonna link to it because maybe people don't know how to find such a piece. And this, Jenna, did you recommend this one?
Yes.
Yeah, when we were starting this, we're like, every week we'll, maybe you and I will take turns recommending stuff. Like, and we say, hey, Julie, what's the deal with this thing? So, Jenna, can you please introduce what you wanted to learn about from Julie?
Today, I wanted to learn about the Mona Lisa.
Oh, that's a super well-known, like top 5, right?
One of the most popular, probably most popular self-portrait.
Self-portrait?
Not self-portrait, portrait.
Portrait? Oh, I thought I was teasing because I thought it's self. I'll save it. Okay. Yeah. Jenna, have you ever seen, why did you think Mona Lisa?
I feel like I recommended that because it's the only big thing I know.
Yeah, but that's cool. For someone young and starting to learn about art, it's interesting the things that you know right away. Where did you see it, or why did it come to you, or where do you think? How do you know the name?
Okay, so this is gonna be a really weird this is why I know this, but conspiracy theories.
I knew it.
What?
I knew that's why you picked it.
There's a lot of conspiracy theories around the Mona Lisa, and it's interesting.
Oh my gosh, I forgot that you're into conspiracy theories. And
Did
stuff.
you really? I knew it. That's why she picked it.
Okay, save all those, and we'll address them at the end of the show.
We're not addressing those.
Okay,
we're gonna be all factual.
We'll let Jenna have 2 minutes after the music ends. Okay, so the Mona Lisa, I've heard of too, and there's a link in the show notes if you don't know how to find it, is painted by, Jenna, do you know?
Okay, I'm probably going to sound stupid if it's not Leonardo da Vinci.
It's Leonardo da Vinci.
Yeah.
I was right. Yay.
Okay, break us down, Julie, with, first, are you familiar with, do you know this work?
A little bit.
Okay. Just give us the where and the when and the who and the why, the facts.
All right, well, I think one thing about this podcast is just to know some information, little tidbits, which is fun to know, kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit.
Isn't that we're not going crazy into this, especially this painting, which has so much on it. You could, talk about this painting probably forever. It's just one of the most.
It's just one lady sitting there. I don't think so.
So,
but okay. So
well, here's a little fun, interesting fact if you guys didn't know. But Leonardo da Vinci is not his name. I don't know if you know that, but da Vinci means of Vinci. He was from a town. He's born in a town, Vinci, in Italy.
So I should be Tony of Chicago?
Yes.
Tony de Chicago?
Yeah. Usually artists back then, those aren't their last names. Those are of where they're born.
I actually didn't know that.
No. Oh, that's cool. I really don't know anything about Leonardo.
Well, so what's his last name? Nobody knows.
No, yeah, they know. It's Italian. It's something Italian.
That no one will on this
Leonardo
podcast.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, it's Leonardo Spaghetti of Vinci.
Oh, okay. Okay, so when did he paint this thing?
So this painting is painted from about 1503 to 1505 is what they say.
No, so that means they don't know exactly the date, or it took them 2 years?
I don't know. Because sometimes they say to 1515. So I think it's the date I don't think it would have taken.
He didn't put a
2
date on
years.
it?
I mean, if they're saying 1503 to 1505.
Why, yeah, we got to question them. So, how big is this thing?
Okay, I asked you to get a tape measure.
Everybody
Got
at
it.
home, please
Tape measure.
get your tape measure. Remember to wear a shirt when using a tape measure because they do pinch.
So it is a little more than 30 inches tall.
30 inches tall. Listen,
There you go.
this is good potting. Okay.
Okay, so you see that?
Okay. Oh, I've always imagined it like bigger.
See, this is why we get a tape measure.
See?
Okay,
you know
and
you know what you're doing
The
here.
width is 21 inches.
The width?
Yeah.
That's how wide it is,
Wide.
21. Okay, so that's like,
So you could hold it, you know? You could
Yeah.
grab it.
yeah, that is
But
small.
like, don't go to the museum and grab it. Like,
You
don't do
can't
that.
even get close to it.
But it's valuable, right?
Very, very valuable.
Well, wouldn't you want a bigger piece if you're going to spend all that money? Just get a little 21 by 30? Maybe the frame adds to it. Okay. So Jenna and I are already learning it's smaller than we thought. You could just pick it
Yes.
Which,
up, take it on the bus.
I don't know.
Take it
you
on the
guys
bus.
know also, it was stolen at one time from... it's in the Musée del Louvre. Let's be French.
Something.
Louvre. The
Louvre.
musée. It's in the Musée de Louvre.
I can't even pronounce anything in Spanish. I'm not gonna try this.
We took it from the Italians. They don't know we have it here.
Wait, no. It was in the French museum, and an Italian person stole it.
Because they said
Yeah,
we keep
he's
all
like,
our stuff here.
Mamma mia!
Yeah, exactly.
Mamma mia, look, they take our art. I will bring it home. Don't you worry, but keep the spaghetti one for me.
So yeah, I mean, it's small enough someone took it.
Oh.
Yeah.
When did
But
they
it's-
take
Wait,
it?
I don't know.
what did they take it? Like, were there like alarms when it was stolen?
It was old enough that they didn't have the system that they have now. If you see
Oh, okay.
how it is now, it's behind a big thing of glass and a giant barrier. You can't get close to it like any other painting.
Did you see this in real life?
No, I haven't gone to France.
Oh. Me neither.
You can't get anywhere near it. No.
Okay, so it's that big. It's from 1500s. What is the material?
So it is oil paint. I don't know if you guys are familiar with oil paint.
Have you ever used
No.
oil paint? I've heard of it. I don't think I've ever used it.
I've
Okay,
never heard of
so-
it or seen it.
You guys are probably most familiar with acrylic paint. It's the most
Yes.
common paint. So oil paint it's a lot more vibrant. So people like it for that. And it
Like-
takes...
Like
Oh.
pops more, like
Yeah, the
shiny.
colors
Like,
are-
Like pigmented.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh.
So the colors are a lot richer and it takes a long time to dry, which is good for mixing and
Maybe
good
that's-
for coming back to.
Maybe that's the 2 years.
Yeah.
Painted it in 1503. And he's like, don't nobody touch. I'm putting the fan on it now. Nobody touch it, okay?
And then it's painted on wood, on a panel of wood.
On wood.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of wood.
Really?
But it's on wood.
It's not on. Normally, things are on canvas or paper, right?
During this time, a lot of things are painted on wood.
Why?
Really?
I don't know if canvases are really
Available?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel
Okay.
like a lot of things were wood.
Okay. Does that affect? Like, do you? Because in my head, when you're painting like wood outside, you have to really paint it a lot because the wood sucks up the paint. You know.
Well, you prime all these things with like gesso,
a bottom layer.
Yeah, just like of paint.
Okay.
It would be prepped before they
Okay.
paint it. But also,
Okay.
it is, if you look closely to the Mona Lisa, there's cracks. It's
And-
not.
I suggest everybody look at the Wikipedia image. That's the one I linked to because you can click it and it gets so big. It's like
Yeah.
a bunch of pixels, like bigger than the actual Mona Lisa, I think. Because the Mona Lisa is a very small painting, as we learned. And you could see it's all cracked up.
That might be that might be the paint of the time. That's it's not as good as what we have now. It's a different formula.
And it's like 500 years old.
Yeah.
Which the paint, you got to put a new coat of paint.
Yeah.
Okay, so why did he paint this thing?
So that's a big thing that's debated. Who is this person? I guess that goes with subject.
Okay, so I've heard this before. Mm-hmm. I've heard famously, everyone says this is a self-portrait. Did you ever hear that, Jenna?
No, because I don't know anything about this.
Okay, so do you know what a portrait is?
Yes.
It's like a painting or a picture of somebody, right?
Yes.
And a self-portrait means you do one of yourself. I do some of myself to make myself happy.
Huh.
I've done one, but it wasn't good.
Well, what did you do it? How did you use it? What did you use? Crayons, pencils?
I used color pencils in my 5th grade art class.
But you should do it again now that you know shading, because then you could get the roundness of your face.
I gotta learn how to draw a circle first.
So, okay, is this not a self-portrait? Because that was a conspiracy that's his face as a woman.
It is actually, it's debated. No one will know. Yeah. There is a strong theory by a historian during the time, which is like most agreed upon, that it is a wife of a rich man of the time. So that's the but you could.
So the thing.
What do you believe?
That sounds right. Like all these, people always wanted their portraits painted, and they would always have themselves and their wife painted. So.
Oh, okay.
So, because like the thing about old art is we don't know for sure, and
unless it's written.
Yeah.
A lot of times the artist would write, like on the back of the painting, who it is.
Right.
So sometimes
he would have put like hashtag self-portrait.
Yeah.
Hashtag 1504. Hashtag.
If hashtags were a thing.
Wood from my backyard. Hashtag keep in Italy. If he would have put those things, we would know all the things, but he didn't.
So I think also
because he wants to be mysterious.
There you go to your conspiracies.
Yeah. I think some of the other clues, people say there's another portrait of this woman, like a nude portrait, who has a similar feature.
We're not going to talk about that because this is an all ages show.
And then some people say Mona is a shortened version of Madonna, like My Lady in Italian. Lisa, which would be like her name.
So like my Lady Lisa.
Something like that. I'm not super for sure.
Because, okay, so like it's hidden a little bit what the name could even be.
Yeah.
He named it though. Maybe? It's nobody knows. Okay.
If I don't know, nobody knows.
Now I have a question. I've seen that at the same time someone else painted the same thing, right? Like next to him? Like another student of his also painted the same, like he was sitting there and he painted the same portrait as well. And it's just a little bit to the side and it looks a little different.
You've seen like a picture of
Yeah, I've seen the picture.
Together,
now I'm going to search.
Okay. I've never heard that.
Mona Lisa understudy, maybe? Oh man, I hope I didn't make this up. Yeah, the Mona Lisa's twin painting discovered. This is from an article on 2012. Is there's another Mona Lisa they say that was painted at the same time.
Is this the full image? Like the full? Is there anything around it?
No, I don't know. It was painted by a pupil working alongside Leonardo da Vinci. So somebody was like, one of his students was working with him and decided to paint it as well.
But would that one be, well, obviously it's not because I've never heard of it. Well, I mean.
Right.
Well, like.
I know what you're saying.
But like, is it as famous as the Mona Lisa?
No, because nobody know. Like, it's always one of those little trivia things like, hey, do you know there's another one that's kind of similar?
But what if this one's the original Mona Lisa? is the understudy.
Is this one of your conspiracies?
No, I just made this up right now.
Well, I want to see this photo larger. Is
it signed? I don't see it like signed.
Because something that
it says it's much brighter and more colorful.
But also the original, or the Da Vinci's Lisa could be a lot more brighter and colorful in its time. It's been through so much though, whereas this other copy might not have been through so much.
Right.
So.
Dun dun dun. Okay.
Well, it would be interesting to think about that.
Like,
Also,
could
I
it
think
be
just So a big thing that Da Vinci is really known for doing really well is called sfumato, which is a hazy technique of perspective. So, do you know what perspective is, Jenna?
I've heard of it. I think I have an idea.
It's like 3D. It's what makes things look like they're either very close or very far, and making things look more three-dimensional, right?
Yeah, so there's a few different ways artists use
like your shading was helping her to do perspective.
So for when you do something in a distance, sometimes you'll make it smaller. So like if you're drawing a tree very far back, you would make that tree small, smaller than the person standing really close to the front of the picture. Another way to do perspective is it's called atmospheric perspective, where it's kind of blurry or hazy, not as clear as what the front image should be. So,
right, like if you look at a photo, like if there's a photo of a model and she's really close to the camera, she's really clear in focus. Maybe the background's out of focus. Is it like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the Mona Lisa is closer to like the camera or like the beginning, and like in the trees. Is that trees? Yeah.
Like mountains and trees and stuff.
They look like trees, but they could be mountains like in the background. They're like smaller than the Mona Lisa.
And it's also super, super hazy.
Like blurry and foggy.
So that's something that you can see from the copy. Is just not done as well. It's way too clean, I think. Which is, good in its own way, but I think as a technique of Da Vinci's, you would see that would be his.
Interesting. What else do you have that was like a note that jumped out at you when you were researching for today?
Well, I thought you guys would bring up her smile, and you guys didn't bring up her smile.
It's a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is the most famous part of it, right? Or the thing that people like to talk about and think about in a more romantic way, and they made that great movie, Mona Lisa Smile.
Is that a great movie?
Isn't there like isn't it a quote like, don't like smile like the Mona Lisa smile, or like you're smiling like the Mona Lisa? That's part of the conspiracy theory.
There's a really good song by Slick Rick about Mona Lisa.
Who's Slick Rick?
That's for a different podcast we're starting. So, before you even go, Julie, Jenna, what do you think of her smile?
It's very, I mean, you could tell that she's smiling, but like she's not smiling much,
What kind? Yeah, she's like,
Like, okay.
Okay, that's cute. What kind of lady do you think she is, Jenna? If she was like one of
personality?
Yeah, if she was one of your teachers, what class does she teach?
English. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say librarian.
Library
studies. What do you think, Julie? Okay, see, you can't answer that because you know more. Okay. Okay, Jenna, first tell us the false thing about the smile. What's your conspiracy?
They changed it. Wait, this all makes sense. Okay, they changed it for like a bigger smile. So like now people say like the smile is so much brighter and stuff. That could be the other copy or the understudy's copy.
I think people say like when they do restoration, they changed her smile to look more like a smile.
Because
Yeah.
with all these old pieces, people have to go back and clean. And do they actually paint a little? Do they add paint?
I think in some works, I don't know if which works they could do that. I don't know if they could do that for this. Like, you know,
And this is a conspiracy you've heard with this. They've brightened up the smile.
no, I know Jenna's told me. Yeah, Jenna's told me about that.
Okay. And
That it's just gotten
that's just
bigger.
anything Jenna says is just for entertainment purposes. Because
Yeah.
she's just getting that from YouTube. And Julie's here to try to give us knowledge, but it's still fun. What's the deal with the smile then? What do you know about the smile, Julie?
So it's also really debated on that. So what I said earlier about how she's a wife of a richer man, that means she would have money. But something interesting about this image is she doesn't have any jewelry. And a lot of times when portraits were done, it was to show their status. So why, she would have necklaces and bracelets, but she doesn't. But she's very confident, I think. And maybe, maybe she's got a little smirk and it's just she's a self-assured woman.
She reminds me of, what's that actress? Helen Mirren.
Okay. Okay.
Right, Jenna?
I don't know who that is.
I know. She kind of give you a Helen Mirren vibe? A little bit older, but a little bit wise, a little bit knowing of herself.
Yeah, knowing of herself, yeah.
A little bit, it looks like she's watching, who's a young actress? Dakota Fanning. She looks like she's watching Dakota Fanning accept an award.
Okay, and she's like,
Oh, that's nice that you have that.
So there's also another idea that Da Vinci used to hire jesters to keep his sitters, the people he was painting, entertained. And maybe she was in the midst of a laugh or a smile.
Okay, so he would hire actors to keep the people, because you'd have to sit and pose for how long? Well, have you drawn a long
2
time?
years.
Yeah.
2 years. So yeah, so he would be like, it's like when you take a Lyft or an Uber, and they're like, "What radio station do you want to listen to?" So it's not awkward while we sit here for 15 minutes. It's the same thing.
That's the same thing. He's just keeping them entertained.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there's also another idea that maybe she's not smiling and it's just the shading of the corners of her lips, which kind of mirror the eyes. And it's what we see. That we're kind of projecting that.
Because we want it to be this thing maybe, and that's why maybe different people see it different ways.
Yeah.
I
So
like
maybe,
it.
yeah, maybe
I
she
like
was
it.
smiling.
Wait, I have a question. I don't know if this is just me or... Okay, so if you zoom into the face, on the top there's kind of like a line, like your forehead, I guess.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It looks like a hairnet, sort of.
It's a veil, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a like a hairnet, like a veil all around.
That's
during
supposed
the
to
time, a lot of women would. Yeah, you could see that it kind of goes down along her curly hair. Also, Jenna, if you see, like the veil follows all the way down, like past her chin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just like wondering, like, what is that? Like,
So
is
that's-
that like wood?
So that's
At the
really,
beginning, I'm like, is that wood?
that's really cool because he painted it, and it's very like, it's a see-through material, but we still see, like that's hard.
Yeah.
It's so delicate, and he was able to capture that.
Right. It's because if you paint on top of other stuff, then you risk the colors getting all muddy. Is oil paint good for that?
It is because of because it's so bright. Like once that dried, it's very good for highlights and.
It kind of, does it have like opaque qualities?
Yes.
Oil paint kind of see-through can be?
Opaque?
Opaque means a little see-through, right?
No, I think doesn't opaque mean fully like a full color?
Don't do
Sorry.
I don't know. Nobody knows exactly what opaque means. But
Or we could just like look it up on Google.
okay. not able to be seen through,
Yeah.
not transparent.
Not
So the opposite of what I said. But as long as we learn something, it's okay to be wrong. So it doesn't have opaque qualities. It has translucent qualities.
Yes, that's what's great about oil paint. That is translucent.
Translucent, can kind of see through it. Okay, so cool.
You know what? I don't really ever paint with oil paint, so I really shouldn't be talking so much about oil paint.
That doesn't stop me and Jenna from talking about anything we talk about,
All right.
even if we don't know anything.
Okay.
Jenna, do you have any other questions about this piece?
Not really.
Fantastic. Julie, do you have any other little tidbits that are super we need to know? It's a good thing.
Nah.
You got a lot of research
I
there.
have a lot of more notes than I thought. Yeah.
You're well prepared.
I'm well prepared if you guys want to learn about high Renaissance and stuff like that.
Okay,
No.
so give us this part. No, it's good to know this. This is part of, because art is in different eras.
Error.
Eras. I had an error with saying era. And this is Renaissance art.
Yes.
And Renaissance art is from what time?
Oh, I have the high Renaissance.
This is the high Renaissance. Better than the previous low Renaissance. And the high Renaissance is from what time?
And that's also not a nice thing to say. Some people don't like to use the word high Renaissance anymore.
But you just told us.
Well, that's what it's
How am
well
I supposed to know what to
known-
say?
That's what it's well known for. But late Renaissance is nicer
Well,
to the Renaissance, to the what became.
Do you want to be late to anything? No, that doesn't sound good
there's
too.
Early Renaissance and late Renaissance. Late Renaissance is high Renaissance, but maybe that's not so nice to say about early Renaissance. You know, that's not nice.
It's better to be early, I think.
So-
You don't want to be late. Maybe that's how the Italians are. Always late for everything.
So it's better.
Ah, don't worry. Whenever you're ready,
that's-
Da Vinci, take 2 years.
Mamma mia.
Okay, so this
Sorry.
is High Renaissance.
High Renaissance from around 1495 to 1520 is when the most important works were done.
And that's when he's doing. Is Leonardo at his prime here? Is this the top?
I mean, he is in the High Renaissance.
But when he paints this, is he?
No, this is later.
Okay.
This is not.
Wait, was he famous at his time?
Because he was so, I don't know if you guys, I mean, yeah. He was a Renaissance man, and he was interested in everything.
Oh,
so
that's
I
right.
think he could have been famous for a lot of things.
He made like
He was
a helicopter
Yeah,
and a scuba suit
yeah.
and like bicycles.
He was a master of everything. He was an inventor. He was interested in anatomy, which makes him one of the best figure painters of all time.
Didn't he want to like learn about like flying or like?
Yeah, he made so many different like flying machines.
Okay, so I remember
That's
I
the
was
same
reading the
Leonardo da
story.
Vinci.
I remember in like 5th grade, I was reading a story about like someone, and I in the back of my mind, I was thinking about like, was it Leonardo da Vinci? But because it sounded familiar, but like he wanted to like know how to fly. Like did he make the hot air balloon, or did he like
He was
use it?
experimenting with lots of flying machines.
Yeah,
And
he
definitely
started a
steam.
lot.
It would I think it would be like steam things and different gases. Like he was always experimenting. Like he never got to fly, but he was like sketching and building the things that led to the things that fly.
Yeah. Okay.
He
I
made
was
things
like,
like pulleys and all these like mechanical things that we use
Yeah.
all the time.
And like fins, like swimming fins.
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, so he was like the guy, right? He's like doing a little bit of everything.
Sure he was like super well known at his time,
Respected
but for, like,
and
everything. Yeah.
had his money.
And he was an amazing. Everyone knew he was an amazing painter, so he was also really well known for that.
Okay, so Da Vinci is a famous guy. So high Renaissance and how would I know when I'm looking at Renaissance? What's like one or two things that I could say, that's a Renaissance piece.
With high Renaissance or Renaissance? What do you want to?
Which one do you want to give me?
High Renaissance is a little. I'll give you high Renaissance.
Okay.
because it's a little different from early Renaissance.
Okay.
But the figures are a lot more realistic. Realism is a big thing in high Renaissance. If you look at works before, they're idealized, which means they're better than what they really look like. So if I was going to draw myself idealized, I'd be a supermodel. If I was going to draw myself realistic, then I would do it
A regular model.
to me, you know?
So, because the Renaissance is the age of, like, people are, it's the age of enlightenment, right? Is that the one?
The run?
Is that the one?
Oh.
Is it the age of enlightenment? This is the time when people are, like, writing and reading and learning and discovering what it is to be a person.
Yeah, a lot of
and
ideas.
Science and mathematics. So this is like, let's think about what people are and let's draw them.
So the high Renaissance you would see different from the early Renaissance is that the figures are going to look a lot, better. I'm using quotations because
More realistic.
Yeah.
It's a new era of let's see how we can masterfully draw these people and capture.
And Da Vinci was so amazing at that is because he was really interested in anatomy, and he would go to morgues and cut people open, so he understood the insides of the body.
That's unnecessary for being a painter, I think.
He was a science man.
Yeah.
He wanted to know about everything. So just being interested in that led to being an amazing figure.
So his art is just like, for him, his science. Like,
yeah,
let's
it was a study. Because it's not just, if we go into this, it's not just about the figure. It's about the composition, how he arranged things. And, you could go on and on about things like that. That's another thing about Renaissance compositions. The way everything is placed in a painting.
Yeah, that's
important.
another interesting word. Composition means where we put things in a painting. Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. Is this a piece that you would like to go see? Or
not under the circumstances of what it is. Like, not how it's displayed. I don't have an
because Jenna, do you know, like, have you ever seen how this sits in the museum?
No.
It's under, like, big glass, right? Behind big glass.
It's like a big piece of glass. You mean big or thick?
I don't know.
It's big.
I could look it up.
Yeah, you can look it up. If you just search, like, Mona Lisa.
And it's hard to go take a look at it, right? There's 1 billion people.
Yes.
Always.
But there's also a really big rail, like a U-shaped rail.
So you're very far.
Yeah, there's no way you could get anywhere,
Oh, I see it. Okay.
So that's kind of not... Oh. Well, that's the lamest thing.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't, there's no reason. That's not going to do anything for me other than what this amazing Wikipedia photo is, Usually when you go see art, you want to see what you can't see on the computer. What's so,
you want to get up real close and see the brush strokes.
Is there a difference in color that I'm not getting from this computer monitor? But, you're so far from it. What's the point? People go see it to see it. They say they saw it.
And there's Julee pooping on anyone's dream of going to see the Mona Lisa in the most romantic city in the world.
Wait, okay, I don't get this. Why is there, like, this, like, really, really tall piece of glass around this 30 by 30
someone stole
or
it.
20 some... Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And this is one of the top 5 paintings.
Yeah.
Top 3.
Yeah, it has to be.
Okay, so that's... Jenna, I learned a bunch.
Yeah, I learned a lot. Too.
Everybody learned a bunch. Julie's got the best art farts.
Yeah.
That's the name of the show. Did we say that? It's Julie's art farts? I think I said it once.
I think you said it, like, once.
Okay. You know why we're using that name? Not to gross everybody out, but because people think art and they think so fancy, rich, classy people. But no, this is a show for everybody and real people. And real people fart. And that's
true.
That's what the show's about. The real people. We're bringing art to the people.
I like it.
So, Jenna, do you know where they're going to be able to find this show?
Yes.
Where?
soon, hopefully, iTunes.
It'll be
saywhatradio.com.
Yep. It's going to be, so this is episode 1. So hopefully within a week, you'll be able to look in your Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast app.
Well, if they're listening to this, they already have it.
Yeah, but they got it from our site maybe.
Oh, okay, sorry.
This is your first podcast. Jenna and I have been doing this for a while, okay? So don't butt into this part. Apple Podcasts, search Julee's Art Farts. And
if you have an Android, any podcast apps, you can't forget the Android.
right, well, they pull their podcast information from Apple, so it doesn't matter. But saywhatradio.com is the place to find it. If you want to hear more of Jenna, you're going to hear more of us at our other show, I Teach You the Internet. But this is the show where Jenna and I get to be students. It's fun to learn stuff.
Oh, and if you want to see Jaleesa's art, go to jaleesatorres.com.
Oh,
Pro.
you.
That's pro right there. JULEESATORRES.com. And yeah, you can see all her artworks. And I'm going to link to all this stuff in the show notes. And
Also, yeah, in the show notes, can you put some books that I read from, like, to give credit?
oh, okay. You give the credit. Yeah.
Okay.
Send me that. I'm not going to.
No, yeah, I'll send you.
Yeah. You could ask
Just
me.
because,
Yeah. You could ask me after the show.
I'm basically just reading art history books for you guys to.
Good, because I don't want to read it.
Yeah.
I want to do this. And we're going to do this like as much as we can. Like every week, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
Because it's fun. And
I really
smart.
like this episode.
Yeah.
Even though it's the
This
first
is our-
episode.
this is
I
our-
can't really judge yet.
This is the best one of this one, but it's also the worst one we've
Well,
done.
they won't all be this long, also, to anyone who's listening and they're like, ugh.
Why not? We didn't decide that yet.
Because we had such a long intro. We're not always going to do that. So
We
it'll
can-
probably
we
be
can
do
about
it.
half the time.
We can do it every week.
Always an intro? Yeah?
We could talk for as long as we can
Okay.
I
talk.
feel like this is a really long outro, too.
Yeah. She's a pro. She knows. So that's where you're going to find us, at those places I already said. And you're going to... duh. I'm going to pick next week's
Are you
piece.
picking it?
I'm picking it.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what it is?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's Michelangelo's David.
Oh.
What?
Exactly.
Okay.
I've
'Cause
never heard of that.
I think I'm staying in the same era, but we're switching medium. We're gonna. It's a statue. It's a statue of a dude,
Statue of a dude.
and this is a really
Your
big famous
description.
one. There's lots of. Well, that's what Julie's gonna help us with next week. There's lots of famous statues. What makes this one? What's the big deal? And it's from another turtle, Michelangelo. We'll do the first 4 about turtles.
And it's in Italy. We'll stay in Italy.
Oh, you know what? Now that you said Michelangelo, I think I know what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. So, people,
don't know.
get ready for next week. We'll learn about another piece, but today was Mona Lisa by Leonardo of Vinci. And I'm Tony,
I'm Jenna.
I'm Julie.
and this is Julie's Art Farts.